Welcome to the Perspectives Podcast, short edition, a trifle in a garden. In Genesis 3, we have this interaction in the Trinity. After Adam has taken of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil and has fallen from grace, his perception of reality fractured beyond repair. And in most translations, you have an exchange that looks like this. Jehovah God said, "Look, man has become as one of us to the knowledge of good and evil. And now should he also take hold of the tree of life and live to the age?" See, the original lie that the serpent had put forward was, in that day that you take from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you won't surely die, but the Lord knows that you'll become like him. So let's get this straight according to this translation and this way of seeing the scripture. Was the Lord saying that the serpent was actually telling a truth? That when man took of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, that he became like God? Well, that translation of that scripture would cause you to believe it so. Jehovah said, "Look, man has become like one of us, knowing the knowledge of good and evil." Young's literal translation, which is written as a literal translation, it can be difficult to read because sometimes you're reading it and it takes literally word for word. So sentences can be somewhat funny to read in the English language. It is written not to go to war with King James, but as a study companion for the King James to set side by side. It says this: Jehovah said, "Look, man was as one of us, as to the knowledge of good and evil. And now, should he also take hold of the tree of life and live to the age?" In the beginning, God made man like him. We were made like him in the beginning. The lie was, if you take of this fruit, you will not certainly die, but God knows in the day that you take from that fruit, that tree, you will become like him. The Young's literal translation affirms that. Look, man was as one of us to the knowledge of good and evil. Now, should he also take hold of the tree of life and live to the age? This is the section in Scripture that is understood to be the fall from paradise, or paradise lost. But we can see even in this the grace of God, who had just sewn together clothes for Adam and Eve to clothe them, to cover their own nakedness in compassion. Is God now wanting to crush them and to stomp them out from life forever? Or should we see that man, who was like him, created in his own image, after the image of his own eternity, to participate in the fellowship of Christ in the Spirit, to participate in what belongs to God alone. Now, in the midst of the Trinity, with his perception of reality fractured beyond repair, an absolute fall from the grace in which he lived in paradise, should he in that state, with a suspicious mind toward God, in terror of the one who formed him and loved him, should he in that state be wed to the tree of life and live forever? Hell no. And for this reason, the Word became flesh and make his dwelling